Now, how many games have you worked on so far?
About 10.
Wow, nice. Um, how did the inspiration for the game's concept come about?
Well, I always like the games like Fallout and um, old school type top-down view type of game.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I thought, what if we create a game like a Fallout but in top-down 2D?
Mm.
And that's how it all started. And we moved from um, Texas. The game background went from all the way from the Texas area,
Mm-hmm.
then all the way to the Mars, actually.
Hmm. So originally, was it going to be take place in Texas, or
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Um,
And then, yeah.
what inspires you outside of gaming? Do you find that you pull inspiration from nature or industrial type settings or certain just like people watching? What would you say like you can look at and be like, "Oh, that's a great idea," or just had an idea that would be awesome to add into a game, or I could create a game around that.
Well, I think a lot of game developers' inspiration actually comes from the games they've been playing, from their childhood period. And the
Mm.
games like the Ultima series and
Oh yeah.
like I've mentioned the Fallout series and things like that really inspires me a lot, and as well as the books that I read when I was a child. And I think all those are part of me, and I try to express myself through the game, I think.
Now, how would you say the game's being received so far?
Well, to be honest, the players they've been playing the game found the game to be pretty good, and they've been loving it so far. Um, but unfortunately, we didn't receive a featured um, spot in the Steam when we released the game for some reason. But I'm hoping, and over the time, the people realize what this game is all about and really take interest in it.
I mean, it's an awesome game, and I like, and I always say this, especially when I play games like this or horror style games. I like the claustrophobic feel, that tension to survive and everything like that. I think
Yeah.
you did it perfectly. I mean, it's great.
Well, usually these kind of games, you don't see it in the top-down view. Mostly, you can.
No, you don't.
There are like a first-person shooters or first-person view, or at least third-person view. Mm. It's quite rare to try this kind of game in actually top-down sci-fi.
It is, but it's you executed it very, very well. The UI is great. I like how it's so just simplistic, clean, but everything's there that you need to know and that you need to monitor, and it's done in a way that is easily understandable. You don't
Ah,
have to like not necessarily like figure anything out. It's like you can look at something and you have like just a quick shot of, okay, my oxygen's at this, the temperature's at this is what I need to do, I'm here, that type of thing. And it's not clunky or anything like that.
excellent. If you feel that way.
Now, how long have you been working on the game for?
How about on you?
Not bad, not bad. And you said 5 people are involved in the making of it. Do you have any examples of what's gone right so far during development?
Well, I think the visual styles went pretty good. Uh, a lot better than we first anticipated it, because because it's a top-down style game. We didn't really know in the beginning how well it's gonna turn out. But the visually, I think it was pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
And immersion that we try to set to the player, that came up pretty well.
What examples on what's gone wrong during development? Like, did you implement anything and it just broke everything and you're like, oh, God,
Oh,
no?
there are a lot of things went wrong in the development, but if I can pinpoint some of the stuff, then well, like every indie game developers, I mean, we always want to make a game that we want to play and we think that's cool, and sometimes that's not really the case for some people, especially for example, like a difficulty levels. And for the games like this, I guess difficult thing was to balance the thirst and hunger needs and a lot of survival needs, so that people feel challenged, yet they don't really feel horribly out, well, too difficult to play. So we had to really try to find the right spots for um, the needs and versus the survival gameplay. So that was really hard to do, and we are still trying to find the right balance, and we are getting feedback from a lot of players. So
I
hopefully that we can learn.
I imagine the balancing, figuring out the balance specifically of that probably would be a little on the tough side. But
Right.
I also imagine that's with most survival style games that's probably one of the harder things to work on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't want to spoon feed the players everything because that's gonna ruin the whole experience.
I
A
agree with that,
survival
definitely.
game is supposed to be letting player figuring out what to do, and how to actually survive in this harsh environment. So if we let players know everything and how to do, and from the beginning, then that's actually taking away from the player the fun bits of figuring out stuff. So, but at the same time, if we give them too little, it's going to be too difficult for them to, get the game start rolling, so they can, you know, carry on and continue forward. That's kind of tricky thing.
Yeah, it's probably you also don't want to turn people off because some people get a little bent out of shape
Yeah.
if it's if they think it's too hard in the beginning. So I can definitely understand that. Now, what are some of the other previous games that you've worked on?
Well, this is actually the first indie game I've actually worked on. Previously, I was working for games company like a Rare. Um,
Ah,
you know, so most of the time, my previous career was um, making games like a Cameo, Banjo-Kazooie, Kinect Sports 1 and 2, and things like that.
oh, Banjo Kazooie.
But a big change for me. This was like my personal quest.
Nice. Now, where do you think the gaming industry will be in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think like, like like you have seen already, the PC gaming has really bounced back. So I think in next 5 years, the PC gaming will really arise, and perhaps even more so than the console. Mobile gaming will continue to persist, and they have their own market. So I think that's gonna be strong for next 5 years too. But maybe the newcomer will be perhaps the VR and AR area. But personally, I think um, AR, the augmented reality side of thing, will see the light first before the VR actually kicks into the full power. That's just because VR requires more sensor than just visual stuff. I mean, you can have all the glorious head tracking and stuff, but if your body doesn't feel that you are moving, then it just have this kind of discontinuity between your six senses. So, but the AR is kind of different because your visual and your body is totally linked to what you are seeing and what you are experiencing. So that's, I think, the next big thing, in my opinion.
Now, what games did you enjoy playing in 2014?
2014. Okay. Well, I didn't have a lot of time to play the games in 2014 because I was too busy making the game. But I'm actually a big fan of a sports game too, like NBA 2015 and things like that, FIFA. But for the indie games, I really like playing games like Starbound and Binding of Isaac and those games.
What would you say is your favorite game of all time?
Ultima 5.
Oh, good choice. Ultimas are some good
I'm old.
games. What? All right. So then, what was your favorite moment that you've ever had in a game? Like, did something
Yes,
really strike
I
you as
remember.
being emotional, or
Yeah, I can definitely remember. I mean, for the rest of my life, I think. It was a moment when I found a magic axe in Ultima 5 under a tree trunk, middle of nowhere. I guess that is something I will remember for the rest of my life.
it's isn't it crazy how certain things like stick you with you? And some people would say that's simple, but or that's not really super like epic or anything like that. But like for instance,
Yeah,
the
it's
Ultima
a little.
games. It was awesome when you found magic weapons. You're like, yes.
That's right.
Now, do you have a next title you'll be working on, or you're specifically focusing on Subterrain right now? And once that's complete, then you'll maybe visit starting another game, or are you going
Well,
to take
well,
a break?
yeah. You always have to think about the next thing, and the one thing that you can't do is just have to, as an indie developer, is you can't just have one game in your sleeve and then expect that's gonna be a solution to all your problems. We are going to work on the next game from this month, and we don't exactly know how exactly it's gonna be, but it's going to be probably some kind of simulation game that
Okay.
is based on maybe another sci-fi area thing, or like a some kind of a Dune setting, or
Ooh, Dune.
yeah, or like a Mad Max style.
Ooh.
Yeah, like some sci-fi based steampunk like crossbreed simulation game.
Nice. Now, I want to take some viewer questions here. Yura wants to know, is the code for the game from scratch, or did they build it onto an engine, and if so, which one?
Well, we are using Unity engine,
Okay.
but all the codes are from scratch, I guess. If you
Okay. Torbor wants to know, how difficult was it to work with Steam networking, like the Steam UI, Steam Cloud, achievements, etc.?
Oh, well, it wasn't actually difficult, really. I was quite surprised about that too, because I thought that I'm gonna have to spend about a month to get it going and working. But at the moment, we are not doing really complicated thing in the game. It's just the basic stats and achievements. So it took us about a week to get it going and working.
Not bad. Grimbone would like to know, is the game procedurally generated?
Well, there are some elements of randomness in the game. Like we are shuffling around the levels a bit every time you start new games, and the items you can find are also randomly generated and stuff. But as far as actual designed levels go, no, they're all handcrafted.
Okay.
We are thinking about perhaps introducing a level editor so that people can add their own little sub levels in the game. Uh,
Ooh.
and for the more procedurally generated aspect, we are thinking about more randomness in the game. Perhaps like we can do random rooms in the level, so we can have a designated rooms that can be randomly generated, not generated, but randomly like mixed up. So you have a slightly different experience every time you play the game.
Now, Torbor also has another question. He said, how are sales without getting a Steam featured spot?
Terrible. Well, I guess it's better than Google App Store or Apple App Store, where if you don't get featured, then you are probably doomed. And most of indie developers over there, I think of it's about what 98.2% of indie developers in Google and iPhone App Stores are doesn't make through on their first 3 years. Um, if their games doesn't get featured in the store. But for Steam, I think it's still a hope for indie developers. We didn't get featured, but the sales are coming in slowly, but like steadily. So we are hoping because our game isn't fully released yet. So that's the one thing too. Once our game is fully released, we will have more exposures. So that's why we are counting on.
Now, I have a question. Well, actually, let me do Torbor's first. How are you guys managing community relations while still managing workload on the game itself?
Well, we don't think a community management is a separate matter from actually developing the game, because a lot of the features, I mean, the most of the feature I think that's in the game is actually from the suggestions from the players. So that's where we are actually getting our work from. So we are treating the community management as our almost primary, the work that we need to do. So that is just not a separate work, I think.
Now, Yura wants to know, do you have any cross-platform plans, particularly Linux or Steam OS, or both?
Yeah, sure. Definitely Linux first. Some users are already playing the game using the Wine version of the Windows, and they are asking us if we can fix a little of a game so they can really run well in the platform. Once the game is on a very stable curve and features are almost complete, and we'll look at the different platforms and possibility of converting and supporting at least Linux and Mac.
Okay.
Don't think
Spectrum.
of
Okay. Spectrum wants to know, is the game moddable?
Right. Like I've said before, we are thinking about introducing the level editor, which gives the player ability to add their own little levels in the game. Other than that, we can expose some data that you can tweak so that the balance can be adjusted. Other than that, that's about it, I guess.
Grimbone asks, do you plan on putting the game on consoles?
Yes, we are definitely thinking about it. We have contacted Sony and Microsoft already for the dev kit and everything, so to see if it's possible to port to those platforms, and checking out the technical stuff. We are still waiting for their responses, so we'll see how it goes.
Hopefully they get back to you. That would be awesome. Torbor also wants to know, how much of a headache was it to support multiple resolutions and aspect ratios?
Well, it was kind of a headache because the PC has a lot of different resolutions, and what we had to do was we had to set the minimum resolutions the player needs to support. So our minimum resolution is 1024 by 720.
Okay.
It was difficult, yeah.
I imagine it would be difficult, especially with all the different hardware that you can be putting in them too.
Yeah, hardware is one thing, but also the UI design is another because, as you can see, the inventory is quite important in this game. All the game is, and we want the players to be able to read the text quite clearly. But if you don't design the UI in a way you can't read them, and if you design it so the lower resolution display can't read them, then that's going to be a big problem. So the design part of that UI was issue as well.
Now, do you have anything else you would personally like to add?
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know if you knew about it because this is a recent feature. You can press M for the level map. So while you're playing the game, you get lost, and you can just press M4 to view your mini map or level map, what you want to call it. Other than that, please support the game if you can, and hope you guys enjoy the game as much as we have been creating.
Awesome. Let me just see if anybody else has any other questions. I think that may cover everything. I'm just going to give everybody a couple seconds because, like I said, the delay can be a little challenging sometimes with chat. And it looks like we are good as far as viewer questions. Thank you so much.
No problem.
The game's awesome. I wish the best for you guys. Obviously, I'm going to continue to play it. Viewers say thank you. I mean, like I said, it's a very fun game, and it's challenging, but it's not it's not the challenging that level that makes you not want to play it. And you know what? I just thought of something, a good question. Do you plan on doing any type of DLC later down the road for it, or anything like that? Or once the game is put out, it's going to be what it is, and then obviously if like bugs come up later down the road that weren't found, you may do like patches and things like that?
Well, we are planning to add more levels in the game
Okay.
if it's needed, and more perhaps maybe more ending types. But I don't think we're gonna be selling it as a DLC. I think it will be just a free update.
Ah, okay. Very cool. So no like DLC expansions, like you can fly to Jupiter, or go underground in Jupiter, things like that.
But
Ooh,
other than that,
multiplayer. Ooh.
if we do the multiplayer like a core play, maybe that is like a separate DLC, but otherwise no.
Nice. Awesome. And free updates are always a good thing. But again, thank you so very much. The game's awesome. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I know I've been reading chat. Other people like it. Drawl says sandbox open world survival mode with online multiplayer.
Oh yeah, the game will be 30 £30 then.
Yeah, it'd be massive. That'd be pretty cool. The setting would be pretty wild. I mean, that might be something down the road if you're thinking about opening the editor so people can make their make their own levels. That I can see that being in there type thing. That would be pretty wild. That's, I'm sure, a lot of work.
Oh, we could introduce a whole new section of a map that's purely for custom maps, perhaps, maybe.
Nice, 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 nice. And yeah, the drastic measures preview on the game goes up tomorrow as well. So we've got two of us in here that have been playing it and streaming it and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
But again, thank you so much. The game, I enjoy it. I like it a lot. I'm a big survival person. Again, I think the artwork's spectacular. The music fits perfectly. The sound effects, from what I've heard, are awesome. And again, I really like the interface. I think it's clean. I think it's sharp. I mean, it's a great game. I can't wait to see it further along, and I'd like to see you guys featured on Steam. I want to see you do good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
But again, thank you so very much. Thank you from all the viewers and everybody. I'm going to go back and play it for a little bit longer. Please feel free to hang out and chat and have fun. And we're gonna go get some Martian zombie peoples.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
All right.
you. All right. Let me see here. Let me get back in here. As you can hear, the slight music. I haven't done the raffle for the game. Let me put this back on. Let's get back into the game and get in here. Actually, let me do this. We will do it for, let's do it for 30 minutes. All right. Oh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, please, 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 thank Sehun. He actually just gave us 2 keys, so we will have 2 winners. That is very, 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 very gracious of you. Thank you so much. So let me get the raffle started. Again, you do need to be in chat and in the channel and following if you win. And don't mind me, I'm just talking to Sehun right now. Ooh, Spectrum does want it. Again, it's 1 gold each. Max amount of tickets is 1,000. So let me get back into it. The raffle will go for 30 minutes. We're gonna get into it. Hopefully, I won't die this time around. I will persevere in the crazy Martianness. So let me pop back in. We're gonna have some more fun. So let's check this map out. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's glorious. Oh, Beautiful. I like that. Okay, so the train icon's nice. That's super, super, super. Now, I'm kind of trying to avoid using the flashlight. I'm just gonna use the flashlight. I'm gonna be a crazy person and use it and just... Okay. I just have to make sure I don't fire any unwanted shots. Please give me loot. No. No. But it's like, look at this. Like, the artwork is so cool. And it's... Alright, you know, 2D, yeah, but it actually, like, has depth to it. So it's more... You could really say it does have a 3D feel to it. And again, it's so claustrophobic almost. And so sweet. Towel. Okay. Yeah, that's my goal. I want to get enough credits to get the bigger power pack, because it will, I'm sure it will be easier. Or at least a little, I don't want to say more manageable. Whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, friend! Hey! Oh, we're getting closer to my 10,000 that I need for my big thing. Let me go down here. Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on. There we go. Gotta find a research laboratory.